Good morning, magandang umaga po. Today we're going to talk about how to plan for your retirement, and I'm talking about the financial aspect of retirement. I made a video earlier about this, but it requires a lot of numbers, your expenses and all that, so I thought I'll make it even simpler so it could be used by everybody without so much complication. And this is particularly helpful for people in the younger ages or in the middle age. Obviously, if you're already very close to retirement, it may be too late to do financial planning at that point, but you can still do it. Okay? So stay with me, and that's what we'll talk about. Hang loose. When we first started working, we are not thinking of how much am I going to save for retirement? How much do I need to save for retirement? What will I be spending for retirement? We're just worried about getting a job, enjoying the job, enjoying the money, the first money you're making. But as you get older, you get married, you buy a house, you start worrying about the future. So by the time you start planning, you may be ages 25 to 35. That's when you start thinking about these things. Now, some people are born with so much foresight that at the age of 20, they're already planning. But that is not common. That is not common. So I'm going to give you this tool so that you can estimate how much you should be saving today that will provide you for what you need tomorrow. Keep one thing in mind. I always say, if you don't plan for your retirement is going to plan for you. So be sure you plan for your retirement. Now, it's going to be very simple. I'm going to show you on the spreadsheet that I prepared, one page. And all you need is, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 information. But they're not simple. There are some that are more complicated than others. So now, let's go through it. The first thing you need to know is, now, we'll have to do it stages by stages, okay? You have to know what will be the investment yield. Obviously, you can save your money, put it in a savings account, but that will only make you what? 0.5%, maybe even less than 0.5% based on today's rate. But as time goes on, it could be larger. There was a time when the mortgage rate that I was paying was 18%, 18% per year. Now, if it goes up to 4 or 5%, oh gee, it's high. You know, you start shopping and 10, 20 years from now, it may be back to 18%. You'll never know, okay? Today, it's unusually low. In fact, I know some people, when the interest rate goes up to 4%, they're already thinking of refinancing, or maybe if it comes down to 2%, they'll think of refinancing. Those are very tiny. It can really get worse as time goes on. That's why when you're doing financial plan, don't be disappointed if what you're thinking does not happen. And that is the reason why every single year you have to update your financial plan to see where you are and to see what else you can do or what you will revise to make up for the difference so that you will have enough money when you retire in the future. So, the investment yield is very important, and later on I'm going to show you. The nice thing about this is you can play around with the numbers. You can say, gee, what if my investment yield is only 2%? What if it's 10%? And instantaneously it will give you the result. This thing looks simple, but the math involved, the mathematics involved is quite complex, and that's why it makes sense to prepare one, and I will share that with you. I have another news for you. If you're not using Excel, you can use this. I prepared some models before that people they were interested, but they said they don't have Excel, so what are they going to do with it? I have a bonus for you. At the end or towards the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can use this model, and I'll be glad to send this model to you if you request it, okay? How you can use the model without having Excel. You cannot modify or do anything, but at least you can use it. You can plug your numbers and you will have the result. So it'll be useful to everybody with or without Excel. All right, so let's begin. As I mentioned, investment yield is very important. So you will have an assumption. Everything here is going to be an assumption, but some are going to be more solid than others. So let's assume that your investment yield will be 6%. Again, don't argue with me about whether this is too high or too low. That's just an assumption, okay? Maybe your yield is only 1%. Maybe your yield is 10, 20%, okay? If that is the case, plug it in, okay? What is your current age? That's easy. So let's say you are now 30 years old. Plug in your real age. When do you want to retire? Some people will say, I want to retire at the age of 50. Some people will say they will never retire. But let us use the normal retirement age, because some companies, once you reach a certain age, they will retire you even if you're not ready to retire. So just keep that in mind. So let's say that the retirement age is going to be 65. Next thing you are going to think about is until when do you think you will survive? Do you think you will get to the age of 80, 90, 100? You will have to come up with some assumption. I know we're not God and we cannot tell when we're going to die, but in this one, it will be better for you to be conservative. So if you think you're going to live until 80, 85, maybe you can plug in 90. Okay, this way, if you plug in 80 and then you survive until you're 90, 95, well, guess what? At the age of 90, you don't have any more money. So to be conservative, raise it a little bit. So let's say plug in 90. Okay. Then at the age of 30, you probably have some savings. Some people would have saved a lot. Others will not have enough. So just for the sake of this presentation, let's assume that you have $2,000. That's all you have, $2,000, but at least it's something. And in here, you should include the equity on your house. What do I mean by that? If you own a house worth, let's say, $200,000 now, and you have a mortgage of, say, 150, and let's assume the 200 will be the net. If you sell the house, you will net 200. So you will have a net equity of about $50,000. That means if you sell the house today, you will have 50,000. So don't think you don't have savings. Don't think you only have 2,000. If you have a built-in equity, and that equity is built up by the down payment you put on the house and the appreciation every year that you realize on the home ownership. So that's what you're going to put in here also. Okay, so let's say you have 50,000 equity, then under accumulated savings today, 2,000 cash plus 50, put in 52,000. That's what you'll put in. All right. Now, desired monthly withdrawal at retirement age until time of death. So from the age of 35, how much money do you need accumulated so that you can afford to have this spending money when you are when you retire at 65 until you are 90 years old, until you die? That's going to be a tougher one. So what you need to do is to look at how much your expenses are today. You have kids, or you will have kids, so your expenses will go up even higher. But then by the time I reach 65, my kids are already gone up. Okay, so that will disappear. Okay, that will disappear. So try to project what it's going to be like when you retire. Some expenses maybe will go up. For example, medical. Some expenses probably will disappear. For example, if you have life insurance, you're paying thousands of dollars for life insurance. You don't need it anymore. You don't have children anymore. You have enough savings. This is at retirement. Okay, so you're not going to need that. So that will disappear. So do your own projection as to how much it's going to be. Now, maybe you will sell your house, which means you will have accumulated savings, but then you will be renting. Now, this is a tricky one because this most significant part of your retirement is going to be on rental or apartment rental or home ownership. So either you sell the house and you have extra cash, or you don't have to sell the house, but then you don't have to have rental. So that's something to think about. But then how much rent do you think I'll be paying? Whoa, how many from today, from 30 to age 90? Big difference. If you're paying $1,000 now, you could be paying $10,000 in the future. So let's say that today, based on today, let's say you need 1,800. Whoa, everything is calculated for you. So the first thing that this will calculate is, if you are going to spend 1,800 a month at 6% return, and you want to survive for the next, let's say, 25 years, okay, from age 65 to age 90, you have to have so much savings, 280,769. Then the next thing is, oh, well, what if I have today accumulated savings of $2,000? Well, by the time you retire, that's going to be worth 16,247. So taking into account the accumulated savings right here, and the age 30 to age 65, you're talking 35 years at 6% return. In 35 years, that $2,000 will be worth $16,000. Okay? Then the last thing you need to do is, therefore, you will need to save $264,000 more. If that's what you want to save, that means that's the balance you will have in the account. For the next 25 years, at 6% interest, you will have to save $185 a month. Now, let's look at some sensitivity analysis. Well, what if my return is only 1%? Now, what's this? The bottom line that we want to determine here is how much you need to save, which is 185. Anything here that is in blue is calculated for you. Anything in black you have to input, okay? And the result is the green one, which is 185. If you're only making 1% return, your 185 has to be $945 a month. That's huge. That's why it's very important to have that kind of investment yield at a minimum. Well, what if I get 10%? I'm such a smart investor, I'll make 10%. What will be the result? If it's 10%, you only need to set aside 35. But if you don't hit that 10%, you're in trouble. Keep in mind that maybe a stock market or mutual fund or whatever could be making a lot of returns for you today. But it could also go downwards. It could be negative yield. Over the long term, you will always make money, more money than keeping it in a savings account. But you have to have a heart of steel. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it comes down, so don't panic. Because if you get rid of it, it happened to me. If you get rid of it, you may lose sight of it, it will come back and you're not in the market. So you lose the opportunity. So stock market, stock investing is not simple. You have to have a firm heart and not be scared. So now let's look at the current age. Look, if let's go back to the 6% return. If your current age now is only 21 years old, all you have to do is to save $97. But if you are 45 years old before you started planning, you need to save $590 a month. $590 a month. So see, this calculator will quickly give you the information you need. So all you have to think about are the assumptions. Do some sensitivity analysis. What if this is what happened? What if that's what happened? What will happen to my savings? What will happen to my retirement payoff? And then let's say at the age of 45, okay, you did 590. But then at the age of 45, you probably have more than $2,000. So let's say you made I have $15,000 now. Maybe even more with the equity on the house. You pay $598. Oh, I have $100,000 now because of the equity on the house. Because I bought a house. That means if you have $100,000 now, you don't have to worry about saving. See, it's negative. You don't have to worry about anything. You are going to be okay. with the 6% return. So let's put this back to 6%, age 30, age 65, age 90, and we said, let me see, you have 2,000 savings, the base case we came up with. Okay, you're back to 185. What happens now if my 1,008 is too low? Maybe I will need, by the time I retire, $4,000 to survive. $4,000. You will need to save $424 a month. If your plan happens, this is what you're going to spend when you retire. And keep in mind, when you retire at 65, that will continue to go up because your survival rate is what? Another 25 years. So that will go up too. So you may want to be conservative and say it'll be 5,000 on the average. Maybe at age 65, it'll be 3,000, 2,000, but then for the next 25 years, it'll wind up averaging $5,000. So you need to set aside $533. So the only thing you need to think about is what age, your current age is your current age, but what your retirement age is going to be. Should I work? For example, if you want to work only until age 55, okay, now watch this. At age 55, which means it gives you less time to save and more time to spend, okay? Because from retirement age to date of death or projected date of death, it will be longer. And yet the amount of time to save is less. So it will have a dual sword effect. So if I change this to age 55, let's say, I want to retire at age 55, you will have to save now 1,253. See? So this is how you use this thing. If you're interested in this model, just put your email address in the comments section down below. Please separate it from other comments. Just send me another comment with only your email address and that you're requesting this retirement financial calculator, and I'll be more than happy to email it to you. Okay? Now we're going to talk about the bonus information. How can I use this model? I do not have an Excel. If you have an Excel, you're all set. You don't have an issue. You don't have a problem. But I do not have an Excel. What you need to do is to have a Chrome browser. This one right here. Chrome browser. With that, you can open XLS or XLSX. That's the file type of the Excel, and you'll be able to open it for free. How do you do that? I'm going to add a link down below where you can click it, and it will save you, or it will give you this kind of instruction on how to do it. So we'll go through it real fast. Go to your Chrome browser setting and then tap to the extensions. Now in the extension window, search for this Office Editing for Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Those are the Microsoft files. Once you get this extension, click option Add to Chrome. Within few minutes, the extension will get added to your Chrome browser. Now you can open and edit any of your online XLS files without even downloading them to your PC. Besides that, you can also view and operate an Excel file that is already present in your PC. For this, you just need to drag them into your Chrome browser. Let me demonstrate that to you. This is the Chrome browser that I have, and I already added the link. Not the link, but the add-on thing so it can read Microsoft files. I'm going to minimize this. Open my Windows Explorer. And here is the retirement calculator. And I'm going to drag it to this browser. There you go. It opens up. I'm not using Excel here. This is using the Chrome browser. And I can make changes to the numbers, 0.05, And you will see it will change the monthly savings. I can change this to 2,000 to 10,000. Oops. And it will change the monthly savings. So this is a good way of being able to use the tool, this tool, to be able to do a projection and to be able to do what if analysis. What if I save this much? What if I'm investing it in this high yielding whatever, stocks, bonds, or whatever? And then at least you will have some idea as to how much money you will need to set aside. Now, obviously, this is not cast in stone. If you can invest more, invest more. I mean, save more, save more. Okay, that will just help you out. So in the future, the important thing is you need to keep on updating this every year. And you need to keep on looking at it because your assumptions may have changed. And what you can do is write down your assumption. Why did you assume that you have 10,000 accumulated savings? Why did you assume that the investment yield is only 5%? How did you estimate that? So that a year later you will remember what you did and say, oh, this is not going to happen. I think I'll need to be more conservative and change this. Oh, now I'm getting sickly. I don't think I'll survive until I'm age 90, so I'm going to reduce it and stuff like that. To make this estimate more meaningful and more tolerable. Because if you don't, you will not save. Because you will look at the future, and if you're too conservative, you will say, gee, I won't be able to save that much money. How am I going to send my children to school? How am I going to do this? So it has to be realistic. All right? So that's it for now. If you find this thing helpful to you, I'll appreciate it if you click like down below. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask them below. But please, if it's a comment that or a question that I already mentioned, just go ahead and watch it again. Just keep on watching it because sometimes this may not be easily understandable. It's just the nature of the beast. Okay, so please do share this with other people, and I'll appreciate it if you can click like, and please do subscribe to my channel unless you have already done so. Thank you very much, and make it a great day. God bless.